What is good, YouTube? I'm here. Welcome to Ivor Reactions. I am Mike.
After a minute's silence,
right,
there will be a fly past.
Scotland, Australia, live reaction. We got a minute's silence a sec.
Just before the anthems, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we all want to observe a moment's silence in memory of those who have died in conflict. For those able to do so, please stand. Thank you. Thank you very much, everybody. And so after we've heard Advance Australia Fair and Flower Scotland, our commentary team will be Chris Patterson, James Hall.
Sorry, you gotta do a minute silence.
Who will be here beyond next June.
Anyway, it's my live reaction to the Scotland-Australia game. We're gonna break it down into 4 parts. And I'll show anthems a sec, so let's be quiet again. I want Scotland, hang on.
Encouraging to see and to hear the near capacity Murrayfield for the first of Scotland's autumn test matches, and what a test the Wallabies will provide. It is an examination also of the Scotland
I hope
squad,
Scotland can do better than Wales.
key players injured.
After Ireland got a fucking huge victory over New Zealand. Maybe Scotland can do the same by here.
Scotland contains 101 caps of experience.
So we can hope and pray.
And a first start for the 20-year-old Xander Ferguson alongside the century man.
We can hope and pray.
And in the back, some familiar figures on his list. So
But what's going to break this down into 4 parts. So 20 minutes into the game, we're going to pause it, then part 1, come back, part 2 to half time, and we'll do the same then in the second half. So it's not a huge difference between the video sizes, and you don't miss anything then.
And one change to the side from last week comes in the back line. One man to come in, Will Genya, released by Stade Francais to return at scrum half. On the bench, 6-2 split for Australia as well. Quick look at them there, 6 forwards and 2 backs.
Also, the football yesterday, England-Scotland World Cup qualifier, 3-0 England. Fair play, lads, fair play.
And the referee for this one is Ireland's
Feel bad for Scotland, but you got a chance to redeem yourselves now. So come on. You got an Irish referee here as well.
Well, it has been talked about it.
Celtic ref for a Celtic side. You gotta love it.
Ending a World Cup quarter-final of the
Good luck to both teams. I have no favourites. Personally, it would be great if Scotland could win, but if Australia wins, then that's good too. Good luck to both teams.
And taken down by the giant Rory Arnold, 6'10" of him. He looked eye to eye with Richie Gray in the second row. And carried in by his partner Adam Coleman. And good early work by Israel Folau, outstanding fullback in his 50th cap today. Little blind pass out to Kuridrani, the outside centre. So Australia with the early ball. And Kenya just got that kick away. And coming forward and taking well, Finn Russell hurls it back to Hogg. And Hogg looking for runners and then gives it out wide.
They got the overlap. Go on, Scotland.
Now by Dunbar. Dunbar still going. Dunbar into the 22 eventually. Pulled down by Israel Folau. But Scotland pouring on.
Just
now.
positive
Russell
stuff.
gives it wide.
Go on, Scotland.
Carried in by Ferguson. Advantage to Scotland. Penalty coming. Laidlaw looks. Gives it beyond Maitland onto the century man. Ford is there. Just gets it back. Scotland still carrying it on, still with the advantage. Barkley takes it. Russell now tries to slip his way past Kuridrani. Hogg now dancing. And up to within 5 metres. What a start now by Scotland. Carried on further. And now Richie Gray. Australia beginning to set their defence again, but Scotland muscling up to within 3-4 metres of the line. Laidlaw pointing, complaining, back they'll come now for that advantage, that long advantage. Scotland might have.
This was not how I thought this game was going to start. Scotland, you're doing good so far. Come on, boys, try and keep it up.
Penalty is something, Chris Patterson, but Scotland might have hoped for more there.
Yeah, tremendous start from Scotland, both defensively initially.
Easy 3 points here, boys. Just get the points on the board.
Go for the 3 points. Initially, a wonderful take at the kick-off by Rory Arnold. Then we saw Coleman, his second row partner, start off the ball hand, and then Scotland came alive after some great defence. Alex Dunbar making the break. Stuart Hogg was working hard to support on the inside. And as soon as it broke the line, I thought the ball was on to go through. You seen under 15, followed, made the tackle. There was space in behind, but Scotland lucky to keep the ball in hand, and a great start for Scotland.
So Laidlaw, a kicker of the deadliest accuracy. He's the one that seems his last 20 with Gloucester, and those kind of runs. This one should not tax him too much. So within 3 minutes, 3 points for Scotland.
Come on, Scotland. 3-0.
Harwell has joined us. It was a bright.
Yeah, you got the right idea. See those bottles lined up there? Okay, that's the right idea, lad. I've got cans and I'm saving them for the Welsh game. So I'm going to be on the coffee at the moment. I might have a can in the second half, but not the first.
It's a great take by Finn Russell from Kenya's box hit, because Dayton Hale at 20 was up, he was in there, who strikes me as was a tremendous high ball catcher, isn't he? Got a couple back against Wales last week, so it's a good start for Finn Russell.
I think the aerial battle is part of the game that Australia felt they might have an advantage. Something like Folau as well, so good in the air. As Foley gets Australia going again. Immediate spill by Ryan Wilson, number 8, so an advantage there. Knock-on advantage, and restarts an area where Scotland have not been too strong in recent matches, but that was a simple mistake by Wilson. And a real opportunity for Australia now. Right on the edge of the 22. Captain Moore, captain is not today's Moore, wonderful work by the hooker. His 114th cap, and Australia now menacing. Still there for Australia, and the blue line flying up in defence, but this is where Australia is so dangerous. And Scotland going for the interception, give the chance now to Folau, slips it out, and an opportunity now for Hale Petty on the wing after the work by Hodge. Still there for the Wallabies, 2 metres out, and Will Genya gives it on to the forwards to crash up to the line, can't quite get it down, just about on the line. So Australia have to try again, carried on now by Keku, and then the spill as Folau comes through. And we saw earlier in the move, Dunbar.
Good defence, Scotland, good
For the
defence.
interception, but didn't quite pay off there, and Scotland survived.
Yes, it's the end, isn't it? Kepu just trying to get his hands free around the back of the tackle. Trying to see Folau changing his line to come into that space. But, well, we saw the Australian attack last week, James, be so direct at times and then vary the balance between going tight and going wide. They're at it again this afternoon.
Yeah, I think that was a great start. Shows you how important the restart is in the modern game. I think, you know, Scotland's inability to take the restart there really hurt them. And, the Aussies look to be using the ball well like they did last week.
The man down injured is Adam Coleman, and that's how it happened instantly.
Yeah, it's his left knee, isn't it? Just gets caught trying to hold or help out of the breakdown, and I think Stephen Moore comes in, makes a tackle. Coleman's foot's caught underneath Pocock and Ford. It's great to see him back on his feet.
There's Ryan Wilson's hobbling off alongside good doctor James Robson. Coleman looks a bit better, but Wilson, uneven running style, taking him off, so we'll see what treatment he requires. But big mistake at the restarts, and they're so important in the modern game. Well, we said Coleman was in better shape, but it certainly isn't. So a replacement coming on for Australia, it's Rob Simmons, Queensland Reds fan, and John Hardy's coming on in the back row for Scotland. Not a change they would have wanted to make so early on, but a very good player to have waiting in the wings.
Oh, his toughest cheek was John Hardy, very similar across the back row. Hamish Watson and Hardy share that kind of workload with them with their club side, as you see.
Well, everyone done their minutes silence tonight yesterday, all their
John Barkley
poppies.
as well. So the balance isn't quite
Had to
there
be done.
for
It's got to be done.
three very good
I
players.
mean, I don't have a poppy right now
Simmons
today.
coming on for Australia,
I
very
was wearing one
experienced second row,
yesterday,
played a lot of
not in
rugby
the videos,
with the
but
Wallabies, and
I did wear one for most of the day.
chomping at the bit for this opportunity.
Pretty much had to go up.
Well, scrums are always
Tamron
interesting.
again.
Some people don't find it, so you see John
Poppy.
Barker's had to go to number 8, so the two real flankers and Watson and Hardy on the flanks. But the scrum, such a fascinating area today. Australia might feel they have the edge.
It's down.
Nobody really has the edge there, if I'm honest. Good stuff. You see this front row, and again, James talked about Australian scrum. They always come with this reputation as being it's an area of weakness. I don't think it is anymore. We saw against Wales how robust it was.
Yeah, it's an area that we've put a lot of work in. You know, with Mario Ledesma as the new scrum coach in Argentina, loves a long scrum. So the boys have been working hard with that, definitely.
It's a great advantage for Australia.
Point.
They are 31 kilo advantage in scrums, Australia has.
Nicely gives the signal to Laidlaw, who feeds it backwards, a bit of a crumbling scrum. Barkley picks up in his new position of number 8 now. So there's that readjustment to make in the back row. And Scotland try and dig themselves away from feet with Johnny Gray. And again, a risky business, but Ford was there. And Laidlaw looks for some heavy men again, goes behind them to Russell. And who will claim this one?
Come on!
Henry Spate tried, knocked it forward, and Scotland indeed have the penalty.
There you go, Scotland. That's what you need to do.
You see, interfering with the ball as Henry Spate initially made the mistake, and Scotland well, that's the sort of ideal exit for Scotland now, having the penalty.
And I think that was deliberate, looking at Finn Russell's exit. He deliberately went high. I don't think they want to go to the line out too often, and that was as an unusual kick to go so high from your own try line, but it's exactly where he wants to put it, in that 5 metre channel. A good chase by Sean Maitland, and Henry Spate just fumbles under pressure.
There's Genya getting in the way a bit. Scotland's line out, and Ford, the man in his 100 cap, goes to Richie Gray. And Russell just shapes the pass and then chips, and it's well placed.
Oh, beautiful! Beautiful, Scotland! I was not expecting this from Scotland. But fair play, lads. You are fucking all over.
What will be a 10-point lead. And it's an opportunistic try, created by
Beautiful.
And then, well, we talked about
Beautiful chip, beautiful take, beautiful try.
What a score, what a start by Scotland. A wonderful execution from the training fields, really off the top of the line out from the front. And watch the delay on Finn Russell's chip. He's pulling up the Australian defence and he just dinks it over the top, in between the front line and the back line. And Hugh Jones, it changes his pace, changes his angle to get on the end of that and score under the sticks. Fantastic score by Scotland.
Yeah, they're the ones that you train during the week and you hope come up, and they would have had a plan first line out of the game around there to play that play. They would have seen something in the tape during the week, and that always gives you great confidence going forward when a move like that comes off that you would have worked spent a lot of time on the training pitch.
Scotland will
8 minutes in, Scotland 10, Australia 0.
Finn Russell delayed his chip to pull the defence forward and then chip in behind.
Scotland, you're doing great.
They're not looking for, and that's a defence. You're looking to stop Hugh Jones getting through here, James. But
I don't really care who wins, but I would like to see Scotland win.
Hugh Jones,
They deserve it.
men now watch rugby in South Africa. Good deal in the Currie Cup as well. Outstanding player for the Stormers. Was born here in Edinburgh, English parents, and raised there. And went to South Africa, studied there, and has stayed there. And here he is scoring on Murrayfield again. Though the restart goes Australia's way.
Oh, yeah. Hugh Jones scored the try.
And just spills.
Sounds like a Welsh name, but he's actually Scottish. Right?
So a couple of early mistakes by Australia. We're talking about the difficulty of sides in the Northern Hemisphere hitting the ground running because they're a bit rusty, but it's almost as if Australia look a bit rustier in this one.
Yeah, I think Scotland are putting under an immense amount of pressure early on. You can see that their intensity's up. They're really trying to get in Australia's faces, not allowing them the time and space that they had last week.
Section of them playing good was how far Wales were playing shit. They were just playing better.
Again.
Australia were. But Scotland are playing good, and you can see the difference. You can see the difference in how the game's flowing.
Without
Australia,
Nell is missing. He'll be back in a couple of weeks or so.
For any hope
There's Ferguson in the tight head
to get
outstanding
this
prospects.
little grand slam you're going for against all the British teams in Ireland.
Dickinson injury as well, so
you're gonna have to shape up because
Ferguson side
you ain't gonna get anything like this.
The decision from John Lacey.
I think they're a little bit lucky there. I think Scott Seo had that target under an enormous amount of pressure, and I feel it could have gone the other way as well.
He speaks the man who has seen referees' arms go up either way and been a bit baffled.
Too many times, mate. Too many times.
Well, the early decisions going the way of Scotland. Scott Seo is called Scott because after Scotland, his father was in the squad for Western Samoa in the 1991 World Cup, and decided Scott Seo was born the week before that famous match. Scotland won that match in the 1991 World Cup, and so Scott Seo. He was actually going to call him Scotland Seo, but his wife said, let's just go with Scott. So Scotland again, John Hardy gives it on and making headway again. There's Dunbar onto Laidlaw, to Russell, and offloading to Richie Gray, who turned around and found no one in front of him for a moment. Then there was Sekope Kepu, and penalty this time to the Wallabies.
Yeah, it's David Pocock, isn't it? Just working so hard over the ball. Johnny Gray just took the ball from Finn Russell's pot, and then that man Pocock caught it textbook over the top of the ball. He had to fight hard to stay in there, but he's on his side, a good penalty.
You can see this is what he's so good at, surviving the clear out. He's so strong over the ball. His ability to survive. There's 2-3 Scottish players all over him, and he still survives there and be able to hang on to the ball, and that's why he's won the penalty.
Throwing on the medicals, physios. It's like a Richie Gray is down injured. So Australia with the 3 early penalties conceded. Actually, there's a player who plays for Southland. There's Richie Gray getting treatment, always worrying. Let's see how he fares. There's a Cardiff Viega plays for Southland because Tove Viega played for in the centre for Samoa in 1991. who's named after that famous victory over Wales in the World Cup. Anyway, here's a look at the try again. Stop rambling.
Yeah, it's how quick he changes his line to attack the ball. The ball's in no man's land, it sits up, and he's the first to attack. He gets inside space, I think it is, and gets there ahead of Falau, and he deserved to score.
Well, while watching that, worrying for Scotland, Richie Gray is coming off, and Grant Gilchrist is coming on again. Grant Gilchrist, a very decent replacement, but Richie Gray a big loss, and changes that Scotland would not have wanted to make so early on as well. But Richie Gray is off, and Grant Gilchrist comes on and into the second row. Say a head injury replacement, so they'll do an assessment. But off he goes for that check, and again the protocols have to be followed. So Australia, 12 minutes in, 10 points down, and ball to play with. Genya fires the back line again. Foley gives it on. Allowing a little loop around by Foley. Nice play by Australia, and coming through the middle is Haley Petty onto Hodge. Beautiful from the Wallabies, and Hodge for the try. A glorious try from Reece Hodge, and Australia strike back.
That's how quickly Australia can turn nothing into something.
Again from a line-out, all three tries in the first half against Wales last week came from line-out attack. This is another set-piece attack, and Reece Hodge scored one of those last week. He's a great player. He can do everything. He can hit it up. He can distribute. But that was a set-piece move, James, out of the top drawer, wasn't it?
Yeah, they've continued on from where they were last week. This sort of B-zone part of the field from 40 to 22, where they like to attack, they like to use the width. You can see here, Foley gets a loop around there, and the Scottish defence are on the back foot from there. And then there's some great offloading there, and Reece Hodge does well here to finish with a couple of Scottish defenders on him.
The other thing that's really interesting is you see State and Hodges keeping the width. They're so wide. That means that Sean Maitland can't come in and close the gate. Stuart Hawk's trying to come up from behind. Falau's at second receiver there with a lovely pass back in the loop to Foley, and then Haley Petty takes the space ahead and gets his hands free. I thought Hodges could have given that, but he's got the power to drive over and score.
He's done well. I think Spady would have been a little bit upset if he didn't score that, if he didn't give it.
Yeah, Reece Hodge again doing the damage, but after this move, again, if you're watching as a neutral, just enjoy the rugby, because Haley Petty and Hodge linking up, as again you mentioned they did so well in Cardiff last weekend. And Reece Hodge, who's been scoring try after try for the Melbourne Rebels this season, earlier in Super Rugby, does it once more on the international stage, and Foley for the conversion. That's better from Foley. I say better because last week that was the one part of his game that didn't quite fire place kicking, but he is 1 from 1 today, and Australia within 3 points.
This is just excellent attack, good execution behind it, and look at the number of options available to the Australian players. Foley on the loop, Haley Petty puts the injection, and in there he gets in the space between Jones and Maitland, gets his hands free, and Hodges scores.
And the restart. Taken well enough for Australia. Henry Spate underneath it, and Falau now always dangerous but well watched.
Rook!
And Grant Gilchrist in the red scrum cap on early for Scotland and into the action. Richie Gray off for a head injury assessment. And Foley's clearing kick. And waiting and gathering is Russell. Now Hogg. And Hogg always a buzz when he gets it, but again he's well watched. A Hooper and company take him down. And Laidlaw under pressure, and Scotland looking to secure this. And Rob Simmons was fine, says the referee, as the ball was out, but then there's a little knock on by Australian hands, and Scotland will have the scrum. A little bit messy.
It's nice and clean in there, wasn't it, James? A few boots flying.
No, I think there's a lot of pressure at the breakdown. You can see, and there was a much better line from the Australians there on the kick chase after the first one, where Scotland nearly went through. I think they're obviously aware of that now. And there was a much better kick chase line. You can see they've been able to put Scotland under a lot of pressure here.
Yeah, that battle at the breakdown, we all know around the world about Pocock and Hooper. For those of you who don't know, Hardy is very similar. And indeed, Hamish Watson as well, he's so tough and strong over the ball.
That's really impressive. Scotland's playing at the moment. There's been a lot of criticism about the defence, but I think they're doing good at the moment.
Who are real open side flankers. They're all of the same build. They're all ridiculously powerful upper bodies. You can see them, and Watson is certainly of that build. And they get over it like limpets, or they're often just immovable. It's a fascinating battle in the back row. And there is Hooper on the open side for Australia. And Australia certainly giving a bit of a shove on there in the scrum, and Scotland under pressure. Barkley does well. Started a blindside, but at number 8 now, and Scottish body's not getting in there, so Australia will have that ball and a chance to attack. And here is Kuridrani. Tavita Kuridrani just tries to muscle his way past Hugh Jones. Things moving in the direction of Australia now, and Genya. A couple of false starts. And then the still again, and they're carried on, and Ferguson gives it out to Gilchrist. They're
going to have to sort that out. That's the same thing that happened last week.
Fancies a little chip through, and there'll be a line out to Australia. Again, just a few uncharacteristic mistakes from the Wallabies.
We just said mistakes last week.
Jump on the toe, and that could be because of the amount of pressure on at the breakdown. He knew he was isolating the wide channels. I think Vissel was outside him, but he would have wanted that ball to stay in the field, I think, James.
That's Lopeti Tamani just down injured at the moment, number 8, who has been, he's effectively the man who's been keeping Pocock at on the blind side. He's been so good at number 8, and he looks in a bit of bother here, James.
Yeah, it looks like he might have a bit of a stinger or a burner down his arm from a contact, which is a nerve-related thing, so hopefully he's all right and can continue, because obviously losing Coleman early on is not ideal, so hopefully you'd like to see him stay out there.
Interesting to see 6 forward replacements on the bench for Australia as well. That was since the squad's been increased to 23, I don't think I've ever seen that, even having 6 forwards, but they may need them, looking at the opening 17 minutes or so of the game so far.
Yeah, I think it's something that, you know, Michael Checker really likes doing. He likes, because he asks a lot of his forward pack, and so he wants them to run themselves into the ground, and then they know that there's fresh replacements on. You know, there's 3 locks on the bench for Australia. You know, unfortunately losing Coleman early is not ideal, but we've got coverage to be able to make sure that they can get the job done.
And that area of the forward strength for Australia later on becomes accentuated now, because Scotland have had to lose Richie Gray and Ryan Wilson very early in the match, so their supplies in the forward department are becoming a little bit depleted. Australia safely with the line out, and get a decent maul going, better than decent now, and they have the penalty coming out the side, John Barkley. And so they are free attack here with a penalty coming. Lovely pick up by Folau, and Folau almost through, and a beautiful offload, and a chance now for Australia through Hooper and Genya, and Genya has Kuridrani beyond him, is taken by Scotland.
Good track back.
It had to be there.
Good track back in Hugh Jones.
And then Scotland have the penalty, so really a dream result from that passage of play for Scotland to come away with a penalty, because again, for all the world, Australia were scoring.
They're just so dangerous with the ball in hand. This time again from a line out, it was a driven line out. It was driven very well, to, you know, almost 10 or 15 metres out. And then, as you see, Johnny
I let England take notes.
Coming to the field after his head injury assessment for Grant Gilchrist.
The line out of Australia.
To see him back, but the Australian backs are so dangerous. Again,
Richie Gray back on.
Second receiver just outside Fowler there, and he's terrorising the opposition defences.
Just a reminder exactly what happened there with Richie Gray. When you have the head injury assessment, you have a maximum of 10 minutes. You have to go through certain protocols, certain tests, and if you pass those tests under medical supervision, you're allowed back on. It's an area they're very, very closely observant on in rugby, of course, with head knocks, and Richie Gray is back on, so Grant Gilchrist off. And Hugh Jones scored the try, and a telling intervention here as well.
Yeah, there's Folau at second receiver. More often we see him out in the wide channels. Hooper has a classic 7 open side support player, and that pass there from Genia almost hodged in for another try, but Hugh Jones, well, he scored one, and he certainly saved one there as well.
Scotland still under pressure though, and Jones has had a busy match indeed. Ford finds his mark. This time it was Barkley, and here's Hardy. He's tunnelling his way forward. Carried in this time by Johnny Gray. Russell sends it high, not too much distance on it. A wonderful take by Genya this time, scrum half. Leaping high in Australia with an opportunity once more. Carried in by Rob Simmons and Moore, and a crash ball for Folau, and he's still going, so strong. Dunbar eventually held on to him. Kurajani, a little blind pass, looking to pop it out to Reece Hodge, was a bit forward in any case, but...
Right, that's 20 minutes gone right there. I'm going to stop the first part right now and then set up now for the second part. At the moment, I'm impressed with Scotland straight up the bat. They're defending well, they're attacking, they're confident. I reckon they could go ahead and do it. So we're going to stop part 1 by here and we're going to carry on now with part 2. So I'll catch you in a minute. Later.